I read an article from Sentinel1.com that was titled 7 Ways Hackers Steal Your Password. Some of the ways we talked about in class, but a few of the ways I didn't remember talking about was local discovery. I guess is where you hack in, or you're just like on somebody's computer or on a computer at somebody's work, and you just like look in the notepad or like a text file for passwords that people just write down or whatever on their computer. Or I guess, like, I don't know a lot about things like that, but I bet you could like make a program to scan or something, like text files for passwords, or a file that says passwords or whatever. So that was one way that I didn't remember us discussing in class. So local discovery, and then password spraying. I read about it. It was where you just like come up with a list of random passwords that someone might use and test it according to their accounts. One of the things that I thought about was like making a website where somebody needs to make an account for some reason. Like they need to make a username and a password, and put in like their first and last name, their email address. It's the basic things that you usually have to do to sign in to some account, and then just testing that password against all the accounts they have, like their bank account or whatever. And that's kind of like the other one, credential stuffing, that I read on this article. Credential stuffing is taking information like that I just talked about, that you've taken from somebody or stolen, and testing it against a database of accounts to see if any of them stick. Like if you are just dealing with one company, then you can test it against their accounts. I'm not saying like it would probably be a tighter grouping of people, but I think that was an interesting thing to like just take somebody's account information from just like some little thing that you make where people have to make an account. Then they type in their password. Then they use the same password for everything. So you just enter in that password for their bank account, for whatever else that it is that they do. So 7 ways hackers steal your password. It talked about number 1, credential stuffing, phishing, which we talked about in class. Password spraying. They talked about like password 123, Batman, just using their first and last name or with some numbers, and they just make like a database of different names to test them against. Key logging, I think we talked about that. Brute force. And local discovery and extortion. And we talked about extortion. Extortion is really interesting especially when they do it against cities. Like you talked about them not being able to use the water or their accounts of water and electric or whatever it was. And I'd heard about something like that before, and I thought like the FBI would come in and just fix that real quick, because like it seems like something that people couldn't get away with. But I really found that to be interesting. But local discovery, password spraying, and credential stuffing were the ones I didn't remember us talking about in class that I thought were new. So thanks.